Welcome into Playoff Central Live. I'm Andy Scholes alongside the Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas and Jalen Rose. And fellas, well, you know, we're excited for round one of the playoffs and it's a start. And we thought we'd get a good game maybe between the Grizzlies and the Thunder in this one, but that certainly was not the case.
No, and OKC, they came out true to form. Defense first. Held the Grizzlies to 34% shooting from the field. 17 from the three-point line, held them to 80 points, and this is how they win. They believe in defense, and they did everything they needed to do and prove today.
And I mean, Jalen, you can just keep going over the numbers. This was the worst loss in the Grizzlies playoff history, biggest win in Thunder playoff history. It's the sixth 50-point loss by a team ever. I mean, the Thunder, they were just relentless.
Terrific communication, multiple efforts, multiple players that are engaged defensively, and then turning that defense into offense was the key. Almost 30 points in fast break points. They were very dominant, whether it was missed shots, turnovers, long runouts. And all of a sudden, once you get that opportunity to get this young team out and energize that crowd and make plays in transition, it became contagious. Give it up early to get it back for a lob. That's when you know you're playing great basketball. And right here again, you see working for the offensive board. Boom. Give me that. Lou Dort with the big time steal. Creating a new opportunity for the team. Big time layup by Chet.
I mean, it certainly was a team effort all the way around. And they did this with SGA with his lowest point output of his season. He scored 15 points. I mean, he only had to play 23 minutes in this one, but it had been 72 games since he scored under 20 points. What does that say about this Thunder team that, you know, they can just be completely dominant even with their best player not putting out a scoring output like he usually does?
That they are built on defense first. And they're number one in every defensive category. They're not an offensive juggernaut. That's not how they were built. They were built to defend and rebound, and they are true to form. They are true to culture. They're true to who they are. And Jalen, you made some interesting points about Memphis, who they were a couple of years ago. Can you expand on that?
Absolutely. Just watching the joy that I now see OKC playing with, even the post-game interviews where you see a bunch of guys joining around the person that's doing the interview. That's who Memphis used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And
we remember, right?
Yes, yeah. And so to watch them face one another and to see how OKC has just taken that next leap as a young team is kudos to their organization.
And Memphis 2 years ago or 3 years ago during that period of time, they were the number one defensive team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's interesting, just as you were pointing out, and I didn't really realize that, yes, what we're seeing in OKC was Memphis 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of the Memphis Big Three, I mean, Ja, Triple J, and Desmond Bane, they combined to go 11 for 42 from the field, 2 for 16 from three. Desmond Bane actually was minus 51 plus minus, which is the worst plus minus in NBA playoff history.
Wow.
Minus 51. I mean, what do you do with this game? I imagine you just try to just flush it and act like it didn't happen, or do you really dissect this one?
I have seen, believe it or not, so many game ones like this in the history of the NBA. Now, this was the most lopsided one, but normally in a game one, what happens in the playoff series, the home team either blows out the visiting team in a game one, particularly after they've had rest, or that visiting team comes in and beats that home team in a close game by 1 or 2 points, right? Mm-hmm. And so this was, you know, how a game one should have gone for the home team. Now, game two will be when the series really starts, because the home team, you know, they did what they were supposed to do, and this is normally how a game one goes when the visiting team comes in. When the home teams had some rest and chance to prepare.
Yeah, you see the largest playoff margins ever. And we were talking that, hey, they might get to that 2009 Carmelo Anthony squad and get to that 58-point record, but they fell a little bit short. But Still an amazing day there in Oklahoma City, and we're being lucky enough to being joined live now by All-Star Jalen Williams. Jalen, thank you so much for joining us after that one. I'm sure all of you guys in the locker room and we're having a good time. Just how did that performance feel in Game 1 against the Grizzlies?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It felt good. Just obviously, I think that's the longest time I've went without playing during the season. So it was good to get some rest and figure out X's and O's throughout the week. And I thought, obviously when you win the way we did, it's hard to be mad at a lot of stuff, but we still got to go to the drawing board and figure out what we can do better.
Jalen, this is Isaiah. Not used to seeing you doing interviews by yourself. Where's the rest of your teammates at? That's how we're used to seeing you doing interviews. But I thought you guys were great today. Can you talk a little bit about defensively what the temperament is of your team, the philosophy, and what it is that y'all really concentrate on that has really taken the league on by storm on the defensive side of the ball?
Just from trying not to give too many X's and O's away, but just throughout the whole entire year, it's about playing hard and conditioning yourself to play a certain brand of basketball every single night. So when you get to the playoffs and, there's not like some type of switch that you have to flip, we're used to playing as hard as we can defensively, helping each other out and just kind of covering for each other. There's always going to be a game plan, and sometimes that can go out the window, and you can kind of cover up a lot of that for just playing hard and giving as much effort as you can.
Jay Will, what's happening? It's Jalen. Congratulations on the dub. I want to ask you
Appreciate
about, yes, SGA is likely going to be MVP, and you did a terrific job being an all-star this year, and Chet was a high draft pick. But can you talk to us about the strength in numbers and how you guys take pride in so many guys being able to contribute on a nightly basis like a game today?
Yeah, it's a great thing. Something I definitely don't take for granted. We have a lot of guys that can do a lot of things, and that's something that we think is our superpower. Any guy can impact the game on any night, and everybody knows that, and I think that's why we go out there with a lot of confidence.
And Jalen, you've had, people doubting you guys all season long, even though you had a historic regular season with the biggest point differential in NBA history. Do you think you made a statement in this one to all those people who've been doubting you?
I don't really think we're too worried about statements. I think the biggest thing is just pressure is a privilege, so that's how we approach a lot of this. But we're not trying to impress anybody else except, what's going on in our locker room, and we just kind of take it one game at a time.
Jalen, what did you guys learn from last year's playoff experience that you put into this year's playoff experience in terms of how you approach Game 1? Was there any difference?
Yeah. I think a lot of it, too, is just going through like a playoff series. Like that was almost everybody's first time going through it last year, so we're a little more seasoned. You know what to expect a little more, but I think a lot of it for our team is just kind of going in head first and not worrying